Perfect. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. My name is Daniel Peled, and I'm one of the founders of Orbs. I'm very happy to be here in Korean Blockchain Week. Coming from Israel, the startup nation, it is an honor for me to be here in Korea, the blockchain nation. Orbs has always had a very strong relationship with Korea. Over the past weekend, we were extremely happy to launch Orbs Center as part of the Crypto Community Center in Korea, which will allow us to improve our relationship with local developers and token holders and businesses. A little background on Orbs, for those of you who are less familiar with the project. Orbs is a permissionless public blockchain infrastructure for enterprises and real companies. The Orb platform, or universe as we like to call it, went live about 6 months ago, along with the Orbs token. We have about 60 people working on the project. Most of them are developers, and we have offices in Tel Aviv, Seoul, Singapore, and San Francisco. Back in 2018, we received the Gartner Cool Vendor Award, which is like the Michelin star in the tech world. This is great validation. For myself, the story of how Orb started actually goes back to 2014. In 2014, I started my first company, Payki. Payki was a startup that enabled payments via keyboard in any social network. We did really well. We grew a business around the world, even to some of the largest banks here in Korea, such as Shinhan, HSBC, NH Bank, and Standard Chartered. But then, one day, on June 2017, Apple decided to suddenly ban our payment application. As they were rolling out their payment solution within iMessage. In one day, our business became uncertain as to how our future would look like and what our business model would be, because of a decision made by a centralized platform. There was very little we could do to change that. But being an entrepreneur, I can't even describe the level of frustration and helplessness that me and my team at Payki felt. I learned a lot from this experience, and most of all, I was constantly thinking about how we can create a more fair internet, where the best ideas truly win, and where giants do not abuse their power only for their personal interests in mind. Blockchain and decentralization were supposed to change everything. When we started Orbs, we really believed that blockchain was going to change everything. We believed that decentralized apps or dApps were going to pop up and take the internet by a storm. We believed that decentralized social network, decentralized Ubers and Airbnbs were going to disrupt the industry and shape a new internet. We believed that decentralization was going to create a world that is more fair, more just, without totalitarian giants that rule according to their perspective and make decisions that are based on their own business needs. But that did not happen. Over the past year and a half, we mostly saw projects getting shut down, and projects that raised funds to deliver new decentralized projects were failing to deliver on the technology and the adoption. The only real use cases that actually delivered were cryptocurrencies and blockchain development platforms, such as Ethereum, Zcash, etc. But let's talk about what did happen to the internet. What happened was that some of these huge companies were so good that were able to eat up the competition. Think about it. Google controls search, mobile, videos, online advertising, and navigation. Facebook controls social media, messaging via Messenger, WhatsApp, lifestyle, and photography. And a few other companies like Amazon and Microsoft control their domain in our modern life. But at what cost? Trust. They may be gaining more market share, more revenues, more users, but they are losing the trust of their users, which is the worst thing that can happen to a company in the long term. For example, who here trusts Google and Facebook for keeping all the data they have on us? Which business selling on Amazon trusts Amazon not to start selling their products cheaper and promoting them over their businesses? If to quote Bezos himself, Amazon is the biggest enemy of every startup. But we believe that trust, or lack thereof, will be the downfall of the empires. A winner-takes-all market mentality leads to powerhouses controlling entire ecosystem, leading to reduced competition, abuse of power, and severe lack of trust. dApps were supposed to change all of that. That was supposed to bring about the Web 3.0, where decentralized apps replace existing centralized applications, services, and web tools. But as we've seen, dApps didn't manage to live up to their expectation. And why is that? Well, there are many reasons. The main one, in my opinion, is that the middlemen, or the platform, if you will, have a crucial role in making the services work. The middlemen act as facilitators. It handles regulation, combat fraud, and invest heavily in innovation, technology, and improving the quality of service. Then, what can reduce the abuse of power? How can we guarantee that these big tech giants do not abuse their power in order to generate more profit? How can we go back to the days where all cheered for Googles of the world, who made our lives so much better? How can we really make the internet great again? This is our vision at Orbs, to make the internet great again. Make tech companies loved, trusted again. Our mission is to rebuild trust between companies and their clients. We want to restore the balance of trust between companies and their users. We want to do so by building a technology that helps companies regain trust of their users and customers. Blockchain technology can achieve just that. By infusing trust into the relationship of companies with their partners, clients, and regulators, trust is earned, and today businesses can no longer assume customers will trust them. Instead of trusting intentions, Orbs creates trust through its publicly verified blockchain technology. Orbs is designed for businesses looking at trust as a competitive advantage. In today's internet winner-takes-all landscape, competing on trust is necessary for survival. Let's take Google, for example. For years, they used the motto, "Don't be evil." This is a belief they lived by in doing business and in building products. But Google has been abusing their power. Just in the last 2 years, the European Commission fined Google with almost 10 billion in antitrust competitive laws for abusing their power when it comes to search algorithms and their operating system. They essentially rank their products higher than their competitors. But with blockchain technology, Google "don't be evil" model should be changed to "can't be evil." If Google uses truly decentralized databases to show us what information they hold on us and show that they delete the data we don't want them to keep, Google will be able to rebuild trust with its users, which is the only way to achieve long-term success. So we think that blockchain adoption will happen with the existing mainstream businesses. If we take Uber and Lyft and Grab as an example, today they compete on 3 main verticals. The first one is product, but as we know, it's very easy to copy product and user experience between one each other. The second one is market share, but then it reaches a certain saturation. And the third one is on the cost, which is usually being delivered down to the bottom. But we think this new vertical trust is what will make companies more competitive and help them reach a new market share. There's 3 levels of trust that we see that blockchain can deliver. On the data transparency level, on the algorithm level, and at the top on the governance level. If you think about data transparency, take DocuSign as an example. Today we upload the signed DocuSign on top of their servers, on top of Amazon. If we take those agreements that are signed and we upload a hash onto a public blockchain, then the agreements are really immutable forever. If you think on the algorithmic level, Google is a great example. How they show us the result for the products and the different search, there is an algorithm running behind it. In order for them not to abuse it and for people to trust it, we need to see how this algorithm runs, and it needs to run on decentralized infrastructure. This is how the data is actually created by algorithms around the world. And then the top level is governance or inclusive governance. What are the rules and how are they changed? If you think about some of the big companies in the world, such as Uber, they have 100,000 employees that have 0 say over the governance of the application, even though their lives are dependent on it. With blockchain, you can have much more inclusive governance. If you think about it, these 3 levels of trust are all around Bitcoin, and this is what makes Bitcoin so powerful. All the transactions are public and immutable. We know the algorithm, how it works, and how the data is generated, and we know the rules, 51% attack, 21 million Bitcoins, and that gives the system a lot of trust. This is the most important slide that I would like to end with, our analysis of the industry. Here we see two axes. On the right-hand side is trust, and on the top is market size. And we really think the market is currently in a big dichotomy. On the right-hand side, we see amazing infrastructure projects such as Cosmos, Polkadot, Ethereum, and what they're building is a permissionless public blockchain for decentralized applications. So there's a lot of innovation, but very few adoption. If you go to the State of the dApp website, there's about 3,000 dApps on top of Ethereum today, but all of them have very little traction or product market fit. On the left-hand side, we see huge platforms such as Cordora, Quorum, Hyperledger. What they're doing, they're building a closed permission blockchain for enterprise. There we see there is a lot of business, there's a lot of deals that are happening, but very few innovation, in our opinion. In closed networks, there's nothing a lot that has changed from other databases in the last 30 years. There's a lot of money to be made in system integration and project delivery, but we don't think this is where it's interesting to be. And then where we think the blue ocean is actually at the top right-hand corner. We're building a public permissionless infrastructure, which is where the innovation is. Only a public permissionless infrastructure can guarantee the guarantees of trust that I talked about before, but we think this public infrastructure should be aimed for the enterprise world. And as I explained before, we think the enterprise will move in that direction, not because of their ideology, but because it makes them even more competitive. On a last note, what gives me the most confidence in knowing that blockchain technology will be adopted is really looking at this room and meeting with the people at the conference. People from tech, legal, economics, academia, and many other backgrounds that create this amazing technology. We're also seeing more and more enterprise companies that are looking how can blockchain can be adopted in their businesses to make them more competitive. We had the great honor at Orbs to host the mayor of Seoul, Mr. Park, just a few weeks ago, and also the chairman of the COSDAC in Israel. And this gives us great confidence in Korea as a market and the blockchain direction. We look forward to meeting everybody here at the Orbs booth, and we would love to have a deeper conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.